Namaste, Jay Bhagat. In one of her poetries, Sylvia Plath is discussing or describing a situation in this manner, just two lines. Barely daring to breathe or achoo. Just one line. Barely daring to breathe or achoo. It means you are in such a suppressive situation where you don't even dare to breathe or even sneeze. Where you don't even dare to breathe or even sneeze. So that's what Plath is trying to draw out to you, barely daring to breathe or achoo. So such must be the situation which fortunately, we are not subjected to. Most of us are not subjected to, but there are situations where human beings are under such deep oppression. For instance, you look at the people living in any dictatorial regime. There's a possibility, conceptually, of a benevolent dictator which hardly gets into practice. I'm talking about Iran. They had a regime, a religious authoritative regime, and the moment it becomes a religious authoritative regime, no questions can be asked, no questions shall be raised, and questioning or even suspecting, forget about disobeying, even thinking of disobeying, shall amount to blasphemy or some kind of such religious crime. I don't know the word is apt or not, but some kind of religious crime where the punishment shall be unquestioned. The point is that the authority who they presume the authority is God Himself. All these people are acting on behalf of God. Therefore, you just can't even dream of questioning when you believe in such a God. Or when you believe in such a God, you have to believe in His authority. Because the question of God that depicted in front of you is a creator, etc. So, you have no right. A creation can never be at the level of a creator. Those two are essentially, necessarily, they belong to two different levels, two different ontological levels. So, such oppressive situation had been going on for how long? You know the history, for a very long time. Many people are born in such suppressive conditions. Many people must have got conditioned to it. Many people must have started taking it for real. But then these won't or can't last because people are not living in a time or world of ignorance anymore. At least they have got this kind of social media. They have internet if they have, but there should be. And some kind or somehow things would reach them of a different world, the so-called free world, the so-called modern world, the so-called liberal world, or in simple terms, a democratic world. So no one would say that democracy is a perfect system, but everyone will have to agree that democracy is the best system among all kinds of other systems where democracy has the least drawbacks as compared to other systems, conceivable, known or experienced systems. So what would be the situation in Iran? Because the Israel operates for their own existence. They are not out there in the world to redeem the people. That had been not the work of the Israelis. They are not out there to redeem people. They are only struggling to survive. If they put their weapons down, they will cease to exist. That's the kind of situations in and around every Jew. He has to fight for his existence, which really makes them a good fighter, reasonably good fighters. So now, with Israel's movement of starting with Hamas through Hezbollah, Houthi, and Syria, Yemen, it cost Iran because Iran had been functioning behind it. Now there's a general unrest among the Iranians, at least about the new generations of Iranians, who see other people living in a different kind of atmosphere and situations. Naturally, they will also want to long to live in such situations where God doesn't play a role in every footsteps of your life. God has a place, a level where the God should play, but not to intervene with your toilets, so to say. How to go to the toilet, how to sit there, how to do this, how to do this kind of determinism really makes one cease to be a human. a non-human. He ceases to be a human under such situations where you have no thoughts of your own, where you have no freedom of your own. It will be a highly deterministic society. So there's a possibility in Iran that they've seen the regime change in Syria. They've seen the regime change in Syria. The Syrian dictator just vanished into thin air with the help of others, of course. And they would, if they aspire for this regime change, they would struggle to, if they struggle towards a regime change, there's a possibility that there will be a regime change in Iran too. Their all so-called religious authority doesn't really mean much. It's all empty. People will come to know it's all empty, and the youngsters they make reactions, isolated reactions here and there, and those who react will also take punishments, serious punishments from the ruling regime. This had been going on before also, some time back also, and what we possibly think is there a possibility that Iran can once go back to becoming Persia? The great people, people with great potentials, they had great contribution to the civilization of the world. Everything is there, but everything had been suppressed by the kind of regime. Let's hope and possibly wish that these people will go back to their natural freedom. They can attain freedom. They can breathe free air. They let them dare to breathe and let them dare to say achoo. We'll meet again with some other thought. Till then, namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.